It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, by the way. Thank you for being here. Started the show at the beginning of lockdown. Now it's become a thing because of you. So thank you for your eyeballs and your ear holes and your time and allowing me to sort of just in the argument that you're having with the future, I get to muscle my way in and go, you're both right in sort of your own way, and it's going to be okay. But there are a few things that have been relatively consistent, and a few characters. And then there's been stuff we occasionally see them. They play a bigger part in the right wing media sphere than we really delve into. And a lot of times I don't even bother with some of these folks because they're so ridiculous that it's just a waste of time. And there's no better example, I think, than Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's email address is freedom@charliekirk.com, according to this. Look at that. That's how silly this is. Like, I mean, please, everybody take off your serious coat and put it on a chair. There is no part of any of this shit where you're like, gee, I'm going to have to take some of this seriously. Also, I'm apparently on the regular. Maybe it's because of the long hair or something. I am constantly schooled online, and I'm recovering. I'll be okay. At how people on my side of the aisle are incapable of being masculine. By the those of this, by the Ben Shapiros and the thises. That supposedly, do you understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying. You understand. You must understand. Like, this guy who literally looks like he's in his mom's basement. It actually looks like he's in his mom's office, and he promises he'll let her use it when he's done with the white paint walls and the white shelving thing. You know what I mean? It's very subdivision. Mom! The whole look. But these apparently, I, as a Democrat, don't understand or have any respect for masculinity or maleness or any of that stuff. But what am I? Maybe it's just lost in translation. He looks like Dougie's asshole cousin, CSL. Well, I will say this. He's got a special guest on that we just got to hear from. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may, the Marge, the Trader, the Green.
The program. So,
by the way, for the record, I'm sure you spot this as well or whatever. This is one of my favorite interview between two people who look like Snapchat filters that you'll ever get a chance to observe. I wish they'd bring on Carrie Lake with her smudge cam so everybody looks fucking weird. Anyways, by the way, you are not you're not losing your mind. Marge has fresh filler. Okay? There's a difference in Marge's face from like Wednesday of last week and today. And it's most of it happened Saturday. So facial filler, that kind of stuff. She doesn't do lip filler, but she does obviously like cheeks and jawline and that kind of stuff, and maybe a little Botox on the forehead. I don't know. I'm just guessing. This is me spitballing. She doesn't go to Eric Bowling's, marzipan and hot caramel treatment or whatever he gets. But we think the needle missed. She got Botox on the brain. She missed the face and went straight into the skull and like, oh, life's so much easier. My thoughts are frozen in place. All right, so here we go. This is after the vote and mid excuses, I guess.
Oh, I want to ask you. We've been receiving a lot of emails over the last.
A lot of hate mail
over the weekend about this deal that was negotiated and the deal that was struck
If indeed there was a deal, we don't know there was a deal. There's no deal. Like the rules package on Tuesday of last week and the rules package that they are allegedly passing, that all the rigmarole was about, had one thing that was different. One thing. The single person moved to vacate. The only difference. Which they were willing to lose and go to 5. Didn't matter. He was willing to give them 5. They just didn't go to 1. And then they ended up going to 1. But that wasn't why Matt Gaetz was holding out. So there had to be something else. And it's going to be committee appointments and the like. Just so you know. Just letting you know.
I believe it's a good deal. I believe that our friends that were the holdouts, they pushed it to the limit. And then they realized that the...
Take it to the limit. One more. Don't do it again.
Moderates were getting ready to strike back, and they still might strike back on the rules vote.
Which is the only reason, allegedly, that the people who were holding out voted the way they did was because they were guaranteed the rules vote, the rules package. But the rules package itself, you have to get the other people to vote with you. And if they were 90 for him, there's reason to believe they'd tell you to go fuck yourself. And, okay.
Congresswoman, tell us about this deal and tell us about how we are on pace to have the most conservative Congress of our lifetime.
Yeah. Let me loosen my belt first. Hold on one second. There.
Well, I've been upfront all along. I always love a good fight in our conference, and I'm never afraid of one, but I always want it to be for the right thing. So I am thankful to my friends and colleagues because there's a few things I like in the package.
We're talking about the RSBN host, that dude now, or?
But to be honest with you, they were pretty much already there.
Right, exactly.
Before
like I said, there was one change. One. Single voice move to vacate, which, by the way, probably won't make it into the final rules package. Even if it did, like, what does everybody expect but chaos?
Last week before people saw what happened on the House floor. But for the American people to see it happen, I think that was helpful.
No, you did yourself no favors.
It brought the dialogue and the conversations and the agreements that we had made weeks and months before inside our conference meetings, and it brought it out for the public view. So I think
here's an idea. I'm just thinking out loud here. Maybe when you have those conferences, maybe you come out and you say, this is what we've agreed on in conference when we take over, and these are the things that we're going to change, and we've already agreed on them, and everybody's agreeing. We're all on the same page before you even say take the House, and use it as a selling point if it's so A, fucking popular with the conservatives out there, and B, you're actually going to fucking do it. So that would show strategic thinking, maybe forethought, intellect, I don't know, giving a shit.
I think that was very helpful, and I'm very glad that happened. I'm excited that we're going to have 12 separate appropriation bills. I think that's a huge win. But that was already there before the big fight happened.
Right. And that's, by the way, that's if they do their work. If they get behind on anything, they're going to have to slap some of these appropriation bills together to get them on schedule before everybody goes home in August and all that shit. It's a waste of time.
Now, the only change that truly happened with them holding out after 15 rounds was the motion to vacate went from 5 members down to 1 member. But today we have Anthony Gonzalez from Texas saying that is a no-go for him in the rules package. And that has him currently against the rules package tonight. I'm going to just lay it out straight for you guys.
But yeah, there's like 12 of them that are against the single vote to vacate because it makes any member of the KGB caucus into a one-person tyrant that can grind the work of the House to a halt anytime they fucking show up and call for a vote there, even if everybody isn't in town. I mean, it's stupid. It's so fucking stupid. And like I said, what was it all about then? If this is so good, what was it all about then? If they're not going to agree on the rules package in the first fucking place, then those people wasted all those votes and time for fucking nothing. They could have just voted present 5 fucking days ago. It's so stupid.
Guys, 5 or 1, it doesn't matter. 20 members of Congress proved last week that they can stop anything from being passed on the House floor. So I see it as a non-issue. I don't think it's anything for us to fight over. I think we need to celebrate the win. We have the gavel. I'm ready for investigations to start. I'm ready for subpoenas, and I'm ready to remove the drama.
Remove the drama. It's all drama, dipshit. You're not going to legislate. Nothing, none of their priorities, that their psycho priorities anyways, are going to fucking go to the Senate ever and get back and turn into a bill and get signed by the president. It's goofy. And anything they do pass, anything they do manage to get passed, is going to have the taint of the, Democrats in the Senate and Biden's signature on it. So everybody's going to get mad. Whatever, like, their caucus, the KGB caucus and the freedom crackheads that surround them, all those folks, if they manage to do anything, will immediately become suspicious. Like, how come they let that one through, huh? I bet there's a clause in there that pays for the adrenochrome.
Basically out of the news and start putting results in the news for the American people.
Uh-huh. I want results to be in the news. Do you, though? Do you really?
So I just want to reinforce this, though. Gonzalez has said he's not going to vote for the rules package. Nancy Mace is flirting with the idea of not voting for the rules package. Some people in our audience say, Charlie, we should have taken this for weeks. We should have kept going months to try to get Kevin not to be speaker. Now, you could want that and you can wish that, but the composition of the House is that Kevin McCarthy had 150 to, let's say, 100 moderates that weren't happy with any sort of conservative changes happening. And
by the way, I would like you to take this conversation that's happening and overlay it onto the TYTs of the world. It's exact same shit. It's exactly the same purity test bullshit. And then when the purity test fails, the same excuses, and then you turn whoever in your party who isn't just a fucking lunatic into the others. You might, like, I don't know why they're rhinos. They might as well all be Democrats anyways. Same shit.
And the moderates were getting ready to strike back. This is a good deal. It's been struck. We're ready to move forward. Can you just talk about how some of the moderates, more moderate members, Marjorie, have been, not so happy that you're going to be on a committee. They're not so happy that, these.
That big smile. It's like Christmas morning. If daddy's out of town and the kids are at their grandparents and you're day drunk and a host of RSBN drop by to drop off a fruitcake, and then he accidentally tips it over, knocks it on the floor, and then you lean over to help him, and it's like you're both down there anyways.
These things are happening. Talk about that.
Yeah, let me give a little perspective for people that there's some things that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, that's weird. You know why they don't know? Because they were all decided in backroom deals. Swampy shit. These fuckers. Honestly. Like, it is so ham-handed.
Last week was painful for some members of Congress, and I'll tell
No. Sitting that long can be rough for anyone. But I would like to say that a lot of us enjoyed watching it, and a lot of our representatives enjoyed dunking on you assholes over and over again.
you why. The holding it out all week long, and I know some people just want to see nothing but full-on fights here in Congress, but holding it out all week hurt a couple of people. Roger Williams' wife had a stroke, and she was in the hospital. She's still in the hospital. He could not go home to be with her because the 20 kept holding out.
Yeah. That didn't, by the way, when they were at that 20 vote, any one of them could have talked to the dude whose wife had a stroke and said, I'll vote present. I'm not ready to go with him yet, but it'll zero out what I'm doing so you can not be present here, and it'll make sure that one of our other votes counts. We'll go down to 19. What the fuck?
Wesley Hunt, his wife had a baby 4 weeks early. The baby was in the hospital, still in the hospital. The wife, his
NICU.
wife and mother, she had to go to the hospital. So there were some very, Kevin Hearn's mother passed away. So there were some very personal things happening that the public had no idea about.
Yeah, but it was better. It was better for the country. It was better that they went through that and we went through that, because it's good that people see that was, it's good that the American people didn't know those things were happening so they could find out after, so that I can either support or detract from people in my caucus willy-nilly based on whether I need to bring those details up or not,
There were great frustrations that grew while there were basically backroom deals being struck.
I mean, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the modern Republican Party. Yes, the Drain the Swamp crowd, hashtag Drain the Swamp, has come back in with buckets of swamp water and some weeping willow trees that they're going to plant right in the middle of the Congress. Again, how? What are they? What were they? What's the whole point? What the fuck? How is that good? It was good that America saw what they saw out front, which was a bunch of chaos and somebody taking a poke at Matt Gaetz. But what they didn't see was the backroom deals and the chicanery going on and the fucking games of three-card Monte and reach-arounds and bullshit going on. For fuck's sake. Like, the comfort at the duplicity is I think... I'm not shocked. I just think it's hilarious.
It didn't have anything to do with rules packages. It had more to do about, hey, what committee assignments and things like that. That was what was going on. Now, I'm going to be honest with you again. I think we may have some moderates using this rules vote to their advantage to say.
First of all, okay. That right at that moment, she's about to dunk on Boebert and Gaetz in particular, but clearly Perry and others who are getting committee assignments and control points out of it that they will use to enrich themselves. And, I want to be on the committee that has the most opportunities for insider trading and that kind of shit. They're jockeying for those positions and like basically sitting back and not saying anything while that's happening. But now that the moderates are somehow just pushing back against one element that was added to the rules package, one, that a single member of Congress can move to vacate the speaker's chair, which seems fucking stupid, and a recipe for disaster for your own party, that those people are like, get that out of there. That's bullshit. They're not even asking that Margin and Boebert and Gaetz all lose their seats now. They're not asking for that.
Say, hey, I want this position. I want this committee assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the things that I don't like, but they're happening.
Well, I guess, and you got to learn to live with it because that's the swamp.
And again, Charlie, I'll tell everyone, I don't have any agreement. I have no committee assignments. I haven't had any. I still don't have any. I just want to do the job for the people. And I really want our 222 Republicans to get on board with this agenda.
By the way, there's every reason to believe that she has no interest in being on any of the committees because that requires you to work and show up and do all that kind of stuff. She can do all of her grandstanding in the Congress without being on a committee. It doesn't matter to her. She's one of the top fundraisers anyways, so it's better for her to have the time off to be able to travel and fuck around and turn herself basically into the face of the party than to be on any committee. The people who are trying to be on committees are grabbing at the obvious brass ring, and she's trying to leapfrog over them. She has no interest in doing any of that. She knows she would look like a dumbass on any of these committees. She would embarrass herself. Her staff are embarrassing. She's employing Milo Yiannopoulos, for fuck's sake.
And this agenda is extremely America first. The agenda we have is for accountability.
By the way, you notice with these folks, it's America first, not Americans first. It's an important distinction. I understand Americans first doesn't have quite the kind of linguistic punch that America first does, but Americans first would take some work and would be closer to what Biden has been doing. These guys are America first because it can be the, their own version of the mythology that they enjoy, removed from any kind of reality, and they can aim for just the successful members of America, the people who make a shit ton of money, the dream of it or whatever, just like abstracts around it instead of actually putting the American people first.
It's for investigations. It's for the border. It's to hold China accountable. It's the.
By the way, I showed you guys already. It's to hold China accountable with our select committee on the strategic competition between the United States and the Chinese Communist Party. Where's the firebrand language? Where is it? What are you talking about?
Stop the woke sexualization of our children and education. I'm excited to pass my bill, the Protect Children's Innocence Act.
Yeah, it's not going to pass. It's going to die in the Senate.
Stop the gender mutilation of kids under 18. I'm excited to audit Ukraine, and I have an agreement with many, even moderates in the conference to do that because.
No, she doesn't. By the way, they're going to basically have a conversation with Angus King, and it will die with that. Angus King just got back from Ukraine and spoke to, here, I'll see if I can bring this up real quick because I want to show you guys something. So Angus King just met with, he went over to Ukraine, he met with Zelensky, and let me see if I can find this, how far I have to go back, but yeah, here he is. Here, hold on one second. So Angus King went over, hold on, I got to shrink this down because it's too big. He went over to Ukraine and with a bunch of the people who are in charge of the financing and all that kind of stuff. And let me show you a little piece of, this is Angus King talking about how they are tracking the money.
A lot of work going on there on both sides. So that's that's one of the reasons that over 40 million people, one of the largest in Europe. And so there's the occupying force. And the war is right now in a kind of stalemate where both sides are dug in along the eastern border. And it's, when I say the eastern border, it's a strip about 100 miles deep into what was otherwise the nation of Ukraine. That is a very rough, a lot of casualties, almost like trench warfare in World War I. Some very serious battles taking place right now in the most important town.
Hold on one second.
Is called Backroom, and there's a lot of work going on there on both sides. So that's that's one of the reasons that in this latest drawdown of materials that the president announced on Friday while we were in Ukraine, as a matter of fact, are fighting vehicles, not tanks, but Bradley fighting vehicles and other equipment helpful to the Ukrainians in this sort of almost hand-to-hand combat to the east. The other war that's going on is Putin's war on civilians. Our last meeting of the day on Friday, as a matter of fact, was with the electric company. They have a nationwide electric company in Ukraine. We went to their headquarters, saw in fact where it had been.
He's trying to destroy it. Hold on a second.
Ukrainians are being very creative about keeping the grid up and running. The TV show MacGyver, where they're with these constant barrages. The other piece that's so important and is important in terms of the drawdown on Friday is air defense. The air defense about Vladimir Putin. Now, what I learned and observed is that this campaign is having the opposite effect. It's focused Russia for generations. Subdue Ukraine, attaches to learn what we're doing, and importantly, what other countries are doing. We're providing a huge amount in terms of dollar value. On the other hand, if you measure it in terms of GDP, we're around between fifth and 10th in the world, and other countries are contributing actually larger shares of their GDP to the defense of Ukraine. Why? Because they recognize, as hopefully we will continue to recognize, that this is really a fight for Western values. Mm-hmm. It's a fight for democracy. It's a fight for freedom. It's a fight against authoritarianism and dictatorship. And that's why it's so important. And it's important to...
By the way, I'm going to show you something in line with this, that after a while, very few things sort of like get my gander up and get my blood boiling. And this one did. I'll show you.
To us, I get letters every now and then from people saying, why are we doing this? Ukraine's far away. It's not our fight. Well, it is our fight, because if we don't fight it now, it will spread, and it will become something that we can't avoid being involved in, just as occurred in the late 30s at the beginning of World War II. This is the Sudetenland, 1938, where Hitler could have been stopped, but wasn't, because the West couldn't muster the will to resist. And the result, of course, was the tragedy of World War II. So that's why we're there. I came away impressed by the will of the Ukrainian people and their leadership, by their creativity, by the strength and determination that they're showing. And finally, spending an hour with Volodymyr Zelensky was inspiring. He's just so that's a little bit.
Good morning, Senator. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Well, as I mentioned, I raised it with him, and basically what I said was, look, if there's a scandal, in fact, I used these words. I said, if there's a scandal involving the misuse of these resources, that will jeopardize any additional resources flowing. He understood that. Then later on, we had a meeting with the Deputy Secretary of Defense and some of their technical people, where we had a PowerPoint demonstrating the software. They're using SAP software, which I see advertised in airports. It's a data maintenance software. And they're also working with Deloitte, the worldwide accounting firm, to work out the process by which, and what we saw, they put up on the screen, is spreadsheets with literally every spare part. And the question I asked is, okay, this is all very nice, but is anybody going out and actually physically taking inventory, counting what's there? And the answer is yes. And then we're doing the same thing. We have an inspector general at the Pentagon who's going to be in Ukraine, I think, within a month. And in talking to our people in the military, both in Poland and in Ukraine, we're driving accountability as well. Now, another part of the support we're providing is assisting with the maintenance of their essential services, particularly healthcare workers and teachers and educators. And in that case, our funds are used to reimburse, not to initially pay those salaries, but to reimburse. So a lot of record keeping and a lot of transparency. Now, we're talking about billions of dollars, and I can't sit here and guarantee that in every single case there are no issues, but I was very impressed by the level, number one, of concern and awareness of this issue, and number two, by the steps that they're taking to.
There you go. So when it comes time for this, I'm going to audit Ukraine, it's time to audit Ukraine. Two things are going to happen. It's going to be behind closed doors because any open audit of it would allow the Russians to know where every spare part is, know where every dollar is flowing, and therefore be able to prepare themselves if indeed the Ukrainians are planning an attack in one place but a head fake in another, which is exactly how they took Kharkiv. It's exactly how they took Kherson. It's how they're eventually going to take Crimea, no doubt. So what she's trying to do is have this audit before they take Crimea. It's not going to happen. Most of these rules don't even go into effect in terms of the committees and when they staff up and get rolling till April 15th. So this is fucking nonsense. Most of this war will be over by that time, and I wouldn't be surprised if they take Crimea well before that. French, like if it had been a harsh winter, if there was going to be a harsh winter, if it wasn't unseasonably warm in Europe, there might have been a thing where this pushed in, a few more months into the year. But since it isn't, the Russians are not having time to use the freeze to kind of build up their stores and get ready to attack. And they're just taking hits nonstop. And that's not going to change anytime soon. Her audit, by the time it gets a rubber stamp on it and gets out the door, and any redacted part of it that hits the public eye, which is what she wants, don't make no mistakes. What the Audit Ukraine crowd wants amongst them is for effectively a financial map to be handed to the Kremlin so they know where all our money is, so they can hit all the areas where our money ain't. That's it. Now, there's no guarantee that the Europeans aren't patching in the areas where we aren't. Very much, it's very much possible they would be. However, it definitely points to strategic alignment of financial help and military aid and spare parts and all that shit. And that's what she wants. Make no mistake about it. Fuck her and that whole crowd, because what she wants to do is tie one of Ukraine's legs to a tree and call it a fair fight. Other than that, I have no opinion.
I don't want any more money going to Ukraine. I'm sick and tired of it.
Yes, I
care
agree
about
completely.
About our.
Look at these assholes. Yeah, me too. I totally believe it. I don't like it. Why can't we just leave him alone? Look at his face. Jesus Christ. My mom said Bobo Little Devil, we're not allowed in the house.
So I want people to know that just because someone calls themselves conservative or someone is a moderate, it doesn't mean that they're always right or they're always wrong.
Oh my fucking God. The nerve of this woman. So basically, what did they do? Did they have some sort of like giant MAGA straw man that they burned in effigy this weekend? They all just took a duke on his head and then stood it up and set fire to it. CSL saying very true. Same thing we use the myth. Same reason we use the myth of $10,000 toilets to misdirect where funds are flowing for prying eyes. It's exactly right. I love when people talk about like the U.S. military doesn't know shit. They $500 for a hammer. Like, okay, motherfucker, you think $500 really went to a hammer? Really? Do you really? Some people cannot be helped.
I want people to take personalities off the table.
She means Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert.
Let's just be about doing the job that we're elected to do.
Oh, fuck you.
And that's what I'm employing.
That's why I'm really ready to do the work that the American people want me to do. And the first thing I'm going to do is try and pass a social agenda bill that will never leave the House. And then I don't have any committees. So I just go home, or am I allowed to just fuck off, or?
Exploring everyone in our conference to do, and that's what I'm asking our voters in the base and people that really care about MAGA and America first. Let's do that, because
you guys gotta look, MAGA, look, America first. I know we used a lot of incendiary talk. I know we were, we talked to them about, fighting and never giving up and all that. But sometimes you got to give up a little and then to get some. And then in the middle, like, this is what happens when the people who use the fight talk all the time end up having to actually get something fucking done that involves other human beings who aren't in the fucking cult. We've seen it on our side. And we've seen the rage that accompanies it. The difference is that the rage that accompanies this kind of bullshit when it happens on the Democratic side, they're not armed. They're not fucking storm the Capitol lunatics.
I'm tired of being the party of never. I want to be the party that fights the Democrats, defeats their radical ideology. And I want to be the party that actually proves to the American people that we're America first and we are for them all the way.
Yeah, and the way we want to do that is because we want to come in late in the game and we'll just stop the debt ceiling. We'll just do that. I don't know what we replace it with or how we solve it, and we obviously can't cut anything on the the level. And it's kind of like saying, look, we can stay in the house, but we got to sell the garage. And we'll anybody in the house that has a car, doesn't have a car, who cannot vote, except me. And we're gonna keep the house but sell the garage. We could patch the roof or sell the garage. What are we doing? Well, who the fuck are we selling the garage to? It's still attached to the house. Anyone can live in it. Anyone can buy it. We're just going to do that instead of fixing the roof and the windows and the lock on the door and the constant repairs and the water bill. Instead of that, we're going to sell the garage. And that's what there's and that's the argument. That's what will be the argument in their little back rooms when McCarthy when she's doing these rounds after the debt ceiling pass.
So there was a very interesting phone call that took place, and some of the holdouts we're losing support amongst the people that I communicate with. So I was communicating with some great grassroots patriots, some big donors that were with some of the.
Were they the same big donors that George Santos's chief of staff, or I don't know if it was his chief of staff, one of his staff members posed as Kevin McCarthy's chief of staff in calls to donors to raise money for him? Yeah, that's a story.
Whew. The holdouts, because they were getting some information about the blow up of some, conversation, all that. But then they said, listen, if it's Friday evening and you're still voting for somebody that has no chance to be speaker, and my theory is on the 14th round of voting that there was a miscommunication, that somebody thought the threshold was something that it wasn't, and that.
Yeah, they don't do math.
This is my working theory, that they actually thought that it was going to pass. Is that correct, Marjorie? Because it didn't look like it was a triumphant thing. And then Kevin walks over to Matt Gaetz, and they kind of have somewhat of a heated conversation. And then Mike Rogers.
Yeah, what did Lauren Boebert say to you, Marge? You're not going to bring that up? Fuck what, McCarthy, we all know he's a wuss and didn't say shit. And we know that, Gaetz is a snipey little weasel who didn't raise his voice. But you guys saw that, right? You guys saw the, hold on, Marge and the exchange between Marge and Lauren Boebert. It was quick. Blink and you miss it. Hold on. I'm gonna find this for you real quick. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Just in case blink and you miss it. She said, get the fuck out of my face. Lauren Boebert telling Marjorie Taylor Greene to get the fuck out of my face after the Georgia rep warned her to stop blocking Kevin McCarthy's election as House Speaker. Voop, get the fuck out of my face. Good times. Yeah, but the problem is we're too focused on personalities, guys.
Rogers comes over and like lunges at Matt Gaetz, and somebody has to pull him back. And in some ways, it was actually transparently real.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It was, we were letting America know just what unhinged, confused, mathematically deficient assholes we are. It was refreshing.
Because that, okay, wow, this is not theatrics, but in some sense it actually kind of was.
Who are these people? Do they even know? Good Lord. It was kind of, at least it wasn't theatrics, or it kind of was. And it's, it's a good thing, but it's kind of bad when people see that. But it's also kind of a plus, but maybe a minus.
But
Jesus.
then you started to make phone calls. And so is it true that you then called Donald Trump?
Yeah, he did the math.
And started to try to pass the phone around to some of the holdouts? Walk us through that.
Yes, well, and you're so smart, Charlie. Wow, you great. You did a good job of breaking that down. And
no, he didn't. What are you talking about?
that is, in fact, what was happening. I talked.
Oh, okay. Well, he did a fairly good job describing utter chaos.
To President Trump very frequently. I will never back away from my loyalty to President Trump. I want him back in the White House. He's the only guy I'm supporting for 2024.
For now.
He is, in fact, the leader of the Republican Party.
Yeah, that's why he talked to the holdouts and said, you guys should all vote for McCarthy. And they all voted present.
His early endorsement and support.
By the way, after Trump called, Gosar and others who were voting for McCarthy with their tail between their legs and their head down, switched their vote to present. When Trump told them, first of all, when Trump told Gaetz and Boebert to vote for McCarthy, they voted present. When he told the others that were already voting for McCarthy or had already in at least one vote, they went back to voting present. The fuck?
For Kevin McCarthy, it helped us hold the 201 Republicans supporting and voting for Kevin McCarthy the entire week. No one fell away. And President Trump.
Well, yeah, because what are they going to do? And by the way, first of all, no one fell away. No, it didn't. No, he didn't. It was at 201 because of the people that fell away. It was originally started out as like 214 or some shit. During his introduction to this whole argument, he lost 15 fucking people.
Trump had a big part and role into that. And the 20 that were holding out, never forget, these were all President Trump endorsed candidates. They have rode the MAGA train the entire time in their career.
Yeah, but they're in the seat now. They're elected. He's not elected to anything. They got a job to keep. They have to get reelected. He knows he's fucked.
Careers, most of them have, and the new members, the new freshmen, they came in because of President Trump and his strong endorsement.
No, a bunch of them lost because they were Trumpites.
President Trump had been calling them, telling everyone, let's get this over with.
Right, because he doesn't care.
Let's get our job. Let's get the gavel and let's hold the Biden administration accountable. And I'd been talking to him earlier, so I called him up and I said, President Trump, we need your help. It just fell apart again on the 14th ballot, and he wanted to talk to Matt Rosendale. And so I said, great, I'm going to find him.
Rosendale voted present.
I'll get him on the phone for you. And I found Matt Rosendale. Yeah, he was right across the aisle, and I said, Matt, President.
Yeah, and he's like, fuck off, I'm voting present.
President Trump wants to talk with you. Can you please talk with President Trump?
Rosendale, by the way, previously on the earlier vote, voted for McCarthy. And then he went back to present.
Matt Rosendale.
After this. So, titular head of the party.
Blew up, yelled at me and screamed at me. Don't you ever do that to me, Marjorie. Don't you ever do this. And he was throwing his hand up and refusing to talk to President Trump.
Hold on, what? You don't... Look, you don't refuse to talk to David Koresh when we're all in Waco, you know?
But I'm telling you, that was key in everything that was happening. And
What? How is to see the control point if she's like, talk to him. You have to talk to him. He's like, fuck off, you nutcase. And then he voted present. The shit? This is, by the way, this is what you call cooperation. This is how we get along in our own little way. You might not understand it, but it's how we've kept this marriage working for all these years.
It was also, I want you to know, that pressure within our conference of these poor members and their families.
Oh,
and
because they're in that situation because Kevin McCarthy's such a silly putty spined asshole that he couldn't work this out months ago. And ultimately, what was the holdup? One element of the rules package that won't pass. Which, by the way, should we check in? I don't know if they're voting on it yet. Let's see. See if it passed ultimately. Debate on the rules package. CNSC's been the thing you want to do in your underpants. I don't know what the theme's saying. Hold on. Whoops. Motion to commit. This is the current. Send rules for the 1/18th back to committee. I see. They're voting no or send it back to committee. Somebody made a motion to send it back to committee. So time's up. It's 2:21 to 2:09, 2:10 to it'll be 2:12 to 2:20 because I think two people are missing. So yeah, that's going on right now. We'll keep an eye on that. I'll keep that open in a side window while. Hold on, wait.
The nays are 220. The motion is not adopted. The question is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Resolution is agreed to. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
On that, I ask for a recorded vote.
The ayes and nays are requested. Those favoring by taking a vote by the... Second. Does the gentleman ask for the ayes and nays?
That doesn't count.
Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Yeas and nays.
Yeas and nays are ordered. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. Sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. Again, pursuant to the order of the House of today, This
is fucking chaos. It's so funny. They're just like rambling around.
Is a 5-minute vote.
The new rules make it a 2-minute vote, by the way, because they think that since they've got control of the gavel, they can wait until enough people are away and then call the vote and they won't have time to get back.
And the House now voting to approve the rules for the 118th Congress. Some proposed changes in the rules include a motion to vacate the chair, which would allow one member to force a vote on removing the House Speaker. Another would require all bills be posted 72 hours before a final
one
vote.
Republican nay.
COVID-19 safety rules from last
Already?
year allowing proxy voting and members participating virtually in hearings are not going to be allowed this Congress. If the
they get
rules are
4
approved,
of
the House
these
will then take up legislation to
nays.
rescind $80 billion in IRS funding approved
then
under
it,
the Inflation Reduction
then
Act.
it doesn't pass. I know of 2 for sure. There they are. There's the 2. The question is oh no, went back to 1. They pushed the wrong button. Everybody's walking around. I promise not to use it. I promise. Like I said, we'll keep this up and running. I'll let it came back. There you go. 2 of them. Let's see. I don't know how long, because this isn't in order like they did with the speaker vote. So they very well could reach the nays in this, in this short order. One Democrat voted yay and then fixed it. Nope, that went away. They're like, which one are we voting on? Like, it's such a fucking mess in there right now. Because there's no rules. There's no rules package right now. It's just... stay classy. Yeah, House of Congress. That's fun. Should we just hang out together and see? Yeah, we need 5. Is it 5 again? Yeah. We'll see. 2 voted against it. That's Mace and one other, I guess. We'll see. Whether they're present or not, or being harangued outside. It's a 5 and 2 minutes, 48 seconds. We'll see. 45 is good. It's holding right now. The nays are slightly ahead, but we'll see if the yays pick it up at all. I don't know if they're going to, there's still, more Republicans haven't voted yet in this. We'll see if any of the people who were against it are not present. We shall see what we shall see. See if it gets a third sometime soon. Hard to say. The no votes would be, laggers at this point. Ultimately, again, this doesn't change much at all, except for the Republicans. They ultimately, somebody switched their nay back to a yay. Somebody got talked out of it. So there's only one right now. Looks like it's going to pass in its current form, or somebody unvoted. Somebody went back to non-voting. Hype train. Thanks, everybody. Welcome. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Sometimes we look at clips, and sometimes it happens live. And now is one of those. This is the actual rules package. The only difference between this and the one they did before. And by the way, you remember how when we looked at the Paris Climate Accord, for example, and the Republicans and a lot of right-wingers were saying, "Oh my God, we're going to get." We'll be under the control of Europe and the World Economic Forum and control, and they can destroy our economy by forcing these things, whatever. And every single paragraph in that fucking thing is, if a country is able to do this without any difficulty or damage to its economy, then they should. All of the elements of the Paris Accord are written like that, every last one of them. Okay, the same soft language is in the rules package as well. As long as it doesn't break any other laws, which there are plenty of other laws they don't know about, then we can do this. And if we do this, we do what we do, and we do what we did to we do it, then it'll stay. Like it's every element of it has all the politispeak you would expect from a weaselly rules package they want to be able to get out of if it doesn't help them. For fuck's sake, their anti-Chinese Communist Party thing is called strategic cooperation. Hey, dumb fuck, we're in strategic cooperation with China as a country, but we're in absolute conflict with the CCP itself. How hard is that to fucking figure out? If you said, the strategic competition between the United States and China committee, that would make sense. But the fact that they make it the Chinese Communist Party, specifically in it, and still only put strategic competition is a bunch of horseshit. The Communist Party doesn't even do the technological, innovation or what have you that we're supposed to be in competition with. It's stupid. So 211 to 217. Looks like it'll pass. Oh, no, it's short of the... No, they got 218 to 211. Unless all these other non-votes pop over, and it's still not enough. Unless anybody wants to change their vote in the end. And there it goes. There it passes. You had one. Nancy Mace hanging out by herself. Good for her. Because she's in a purple district. But it won't matter anyways, because the minute you vacate, the next person's up to those rules.
These terrible issues that were happening. And it was like, okay, enough. You've extracted enough, your pound of flesh here.
She doesn't know where analogies are born from, so she doesn't know how awful they are.
You've done it. Let's care about people. And President Trump is saying, get it done. Get it.
Yeah, that's why he called, because he cares about people. Not, this is embarrassing, which is the only emotion he actually feels.
It over with. And it was President Trump, his phone calls and his words to members that I believe it was key in getting this thing across the line. And we have the gavel. This is
oh my God, this is so exciting, y'all.
Something people need to celebrate. And this was
yeah, it's a fucking squeaker, dipshit. And you almost ate yourselves alive. No votes are 3, 215, time remaining is 0. It looks like it's going to pass.
a team effort with President Trump.
It is. We all got together where he really he came off the bench and he stood about 18 feet away from our person who was at bat and screamed at them, and they said, fuck off, and took the walk. That's what happened. Level 2 hype train. Welcome, by the way, if you're just joining us at twitch.tv/HalSparks. Thank you for being here. Hey, if you're in the Steph chat on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays when I'm doing my thing right after, I'll pop on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays a little early just to be sitting there so that you can tell Chris or whoever's running it over there to raid me and everybody can just bounce straight over. I'm just saying. It's not a bad thing. Just throwing that out there.
Many Republicans and all the conversations and the negotiations, we should be celebrating today.
Yeah, this is so fun. It went exactly like it was supposed to, y'all.
No one should be mad anymore.
Yeah, nobody. Stop being mad. Laura Loomer.
We should be cheering because we are ready to roll. And
No, their first 3 bills are anti-abortion bills that will die in the House, even if you passed them even if you manage to pass them, which is doubtful. They're not gonna pass the Senate. That's not rolling. That's revving the engine in the fucking garage with the door closed.
ready to go. I can't imagine anybody being upset about having the gavel and the control here in the House, because we've been under Nancy Pelosi while she has been leading the effort and the legislation.
Yeah, that the word leading stands out, I think, too. Unlike...
And the attacks on our country, our constitution.
Hold on, they're reading it. Hold on 1 second.
Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Yeah. I move to vacate the Speaker's chair. Does it only take one member of the caucus to do that, or can any random Democrat just call for that vote just to fuck with everybody too? I think it's just got one Republican, right? Since it's a rule, not a law.
The House will be in order. Members, you can take your conversations from the floor. Clear the aisle, clear the well. The House has business to conduct. The House will be in order.
Will it, though?
Clear the aisles. Take a seat or your conversations from the floor. For what purpose does the gentleman from Oklahoma seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I offer a privileged resolution and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Resolution 6. Resolved that unless otherwise recorded, the hour of daily meeting of the House shall be 2 p.m. on Mondays, noon on Tuesdays, or 2 p.m. if no legislative business was conducted on the preceding Monday, noon on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and 9 a.m. on all other days of the week.
That's what I call ready to roll.
Without objection, the resolution is agreed to. The motion to reconsider is laid on the table. For what purpose does the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole, seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I offer a privileged concurrent resolution and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the concurrent resolution.
House Concurrent Resolution 1. Resolved by the House of Representatives that the Senate concurring that pursuant to Clause 4 and Section 5 of Article 1 of the Constitution, during the 118th Congress, the Speaker of the House and the Majority Leader of the Senate, or their respective designees, acting jointly after consultation with the Minority Leader of the House and the Minority Leader of the Senate, may notify the members of the House and the Senate, respectively, to assemble at a place outside the District of Columbia if, in their opinion, the public interest shall warrant it.
Without objection, the concurrent resolution is agreed to, and the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. For what purpose does the gentleman from Louisiana, the Majority Leader, Mr. Scalise, seek recognition?
I got a stack.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that during the 118th Congress, the Speaker, Majority Leader, and Minority Leader be authorized to accept resignations and to make appointments authorized by law or by the House.
Without objection.
This is all
Mr.
standard
Speaker,
business.
From Louisiana.
I also ask unanimous consent that during the 118th Congress, all members be permitted to extend their remarks and to include extraneous material within the permitted limit in that section of the record entitled Extensions of Remarks.
Without objection. Gentleman from Louisiana.
Can they hold
Mr.
up
Speaker, I
tweets?
ask unanimous consent that during the first session of the 118th Congress, on legislative days of Monday or Tuesday when the House convenes pursuant to House Resolution 6, the House shall convene 2 hours earlier than the time otherwise established by the resolution for the purpose of conducting morning hour debate. On legislative days of Wednesday or Thursday when the House convenes pursuant to House Resolution 6, the House shall convene 2 hours earlier than the time otherwise established by the resolution for the purpose of conducting morning hour debate. When the House convenes pursuant to an order other than House Resolution 6, the House shall convene for the purpose of conducting morning hour debate only as prescribed by such order. The time for morning hour...
Yeah, basically, the Republicans are like, I want more camera time.
...appointed for the resumption of the session of the House. And the form of proceeding for morning hour debate shall be as follows. The prayer by the chaplain, the approval of the journal, and the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag shall be postponed until resumption of the session of the House. Initial and subsequent recognitions for debate shall alternate between the parties.
So they're going to debate without the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance being said before, so that the idea is, I guess, they are outside of their oath. Curious.
Minority leader or the minority whip. No legislative business shall be in order except the filing of privileged reports, and following morning hour debate, the chair shall declare a recess pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1 until the time appointed.
Yeah, they're just making Scalise do all the jerkwater work. That's pretty common. There's so much of that shit that just has to be done as a matter of course. Otherwise, you can't tell when somebody's breaking the rules if you don't have any.
Constitution and the American people, and she has been getting the job done for Joe Biden. Well, that ended on Friday night because we got...
No, it didn't, because the stuff she got done actually lasts until next year, and even beyond.
The gavel. We won, and President Trump, his voice being there.
Be his voice on high, be it almighty, and shine down upon us in all of his orangey, gooey, sweaty goodness.
On the floor on the phone was just such a great...
It was so great, even though the guy was holding his hand out and saying, fuck off, I don't need to talk to that dickhead right now. But he said it in a way that I knew he didn't really mean it.
Just a great thing for me to be a part of, and I'm so happy that everyone knew that that's who was on that phone.
Well, we sure shit know it wasn't your ex.
Friday night.
Yeah, I think that that wins the Getty image of the pictures of the year so far.
No, it absolutely fucking does not. I think the Mike Rogers getting his mouth covered as they're pulling him off, beating the shit out of Matt Gaetz. I think that's the Getty image of the whole thing.
I mean, it very.
Oh yeah.
It's very, very powerful in more ways than one.
Why? Again, she's holding up the phone, and the dude is saying "fuck off."
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And that's someone in her party.
Stay right there, and we are going to get the alleged lip reading of Matt Gaetz and Kevin McCarthy's exchange. If you haven't seen the video, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. All right,
well, and but we're all having fun, aren't we, Charlie? Because everything's going so well.
Subscribe to the Charlie Kirk Show podcast. What do we have? Balance in Nature.
Oh, selling shit now. By the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Hi. Thanks for being here.